Okay. I think there's somebody mother needs to mute here. There you go. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So today, Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, we start a new chapter, chapter 4. And so we just do the first verse. And I've entitled this Incarnations, Attraction, and Prema. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Rajo Vacha Yani Yani Ha Karmani Yai Yai Swachhanda Janmibhi Chakre Karoti Kartava Haristani Bruvantuna. Translation and purport by servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So now King Nimi starts this questioning. It's a new chapter. King Nimi opens a whole new dimension of questioning. You know, he's talking with the 9 Yogendras. King Nimi said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends into the material world by His internal potency and according to His desire. Therefore, please tell us about the various pastimes Lord Hari has performed in the past, is performing now, and will perform in this world in the future in His various incarnations. Purport. In this 4th chapter, the son of Jayanti, Drumila is one of the 9 Yogendras, will address King Nimi. The 48th verse of the 3rd chapter, the previous chapter, said, Murtya bhimattayamna. One should worship the particular form of the Lord, most attractive to oneself. Similarly, it was stated in the previous chapter, Stavai stutva named dharim. One should bow down to Lord Hari after glorifying Him with prayers. Thus, it is assumed that the worshipper has knowledge of the Supreme Lord's transcendental qualities and pastimes in order to execute the process of worship previously described. King Nimi, therefore, is eagerly inquiring about the various incarnations of the Supreme Lord, so that he can ascertain which particular form of the Supreme Lord is most suitable for his personal worship. It is understood that King Nimi is a Vaishnava, or a devotee who is trying to advance in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is important to note in this regard that the word Abhimata Murti, meaning one's most desirable form, does not indicate that one may concoct a form of the Lord by one's own whim. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. All the forms of the Supreme Lord are anadim, or eternal. Thus, there is no question of concocting a form, because such a concoction would be adi, or the origin of the concocted form. Abhimata Murti means that among the eternal forms of the Lord, one should select that form which most inspires one's love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such love cannot be imitated, but it is automatically aroused when one follows the prescribed rules and regulations given by the bona fide spiritual master and submissively hears these descriptions of Srimad Bhagavatam. Abhimata Murti means that among the eternal forms, yeah, I think I read this. I just put it again over here, that one should select a form which most inspires one's love, and such love cannot be imitated. And it's a beautiful coincidence that this purport about love, the word love appears twice here, falls on Valentine's Day, just today. So this is the verse. King Nemi is asking, right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead descends into the material world by his internal potency and according to his own desire. Therefore, please tell us about the various pastimes the Lord Hari has performed in the past, is performing now, and will perform in this world in the future in his various incarnations. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkest of ignorance. I bow down to my spiritual master, who has opened my darkened eyes and filled my heart with transcendental knowledge. I further bow to all of you assembled Vaishnavas and seek your kind blessings and permission that I may reach Srimad Bhagavatam. So at first glance, this question sounds like a theological request. Philosophy, theology. But the Bhagavatam rarely records questions that are merely informational. King Nemi is not asking, please educate me, please give me information. You have to see the context of the previous verses, which is why in the purport, the devotees wrote that refer to the previous verses, because King Nemi was saying, how can I love more? So Nemi is asking, please help me love the Lord better. That's why it's being discussed in the purport. That's the question. And that changes everything. It's not like, okay, help me fill out my, little cubby holes of information so then I can, retrieve them later on when I'm asked about it. No, he's saying, how can I engage my heart? How can I really love the Lord? Show me different ways I can connect. Why? Because we're all thirsting for love. So the mood of the question is that King Nimi already knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He already knows that Krishna has unlimited forms. He already knows that Krishna descends by his own will. So then why ask this question? See, in the purport, we see that he is a Vaishnava trying to always advance. He's trying to advance in loving service. He wants to know Krishna not abstractly, but intimately. He wants to know which form of the Lord will most awaken my heart, because that was referenced in the back. Worship the Lord that really gets you excited, the form of the Lord. Of course, the Lord is one. But which manifestation, which dress of the Lord really gets your heart jumping? It's a very natural thing. And suddenly this is not just a Bhagavatam verse, it's a Valentine's Day question. So today, Valentine's Day, I'm actually here in Washington, D.C. I don't know if Henry's still here, but I'm here to visit the temple. And here I'm seeing this balloons everywhere. You had balloons wherever I go. The world is celebrating love. Cards, flowers, chocolates, dinner reservations, pressure, and limousines with, beneath all of all this is one quiet, desperate question. Where is love? Everyone is looking for it, actually. Some people are looking in another person. Some are looking in some sort of validation. Some are looking for it in being needed. Some are looking for it in being admired. But everyone's looking for love in some way or form. And the Bhagavatam gently smiles and says, you're not wrong to look for love. You're wrong to think you don't already have the capacity for it. You already have the ability to love and connect. Love is not something we acquire. Love is something we are. This is famous verse here. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. Sadhya Kabnoy. Shravanadi Shuddhe Chitte Karoy Uday. That is Krishna Prem, the love, the eternal deep love for Krishna. Sadhya Kabunoy. It's never something that's introduced from outside. It is something that's within. The sun is not visible because someone shines a flashlight on it. So our love is not something that comes from outside. Something we are. Many years ago, George Harrison of the Beatles, who had a deep appreciation of Vedic wisdom, he had deep love for Srila Prabhupada, and even helped spread the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra across the world. You know, he donated that famous Bhaktivedanta Manor, which is like the hub of Krishna consciousness in the UK. He famously sang this thing. All you need is love. And he wrote this as well on a card. But if you look closely at some of his personal notes, he actually wrote, all you need is love, in parentheses, Krishna. He put Krishna in parentheses. He knew. He understood that love without its source becomes vague. Love without its center becomes unstable. Love without the absolute becomes actually exhausting. And he saw that people are really searching for this thing. When they say love, it's something infinite, but you're searching for it in very finite, limited places. And we're making do, we're settling for something that we don't really want. So love comes from within. The Vedic understanding that explains spiritually is radical and it's deeply hopeful. Love is the inherent quality of the soul. It's a quality. It's not the quality of the body or the mind, not even the quality of our emotions, which is just an expression. It is the core quality of the soul, which means love does not come from chemistry. You know, I said, chemistry wasn't good. No, not chemistry. It doesn't come from compatibility tests you can take online. It doesn't come from shared interests in what you like to eat and what you like to do for hobbies or whatever. It doesn't come from these superficial identities. We are lovers by our very constitution. This is why even animals show affection, they show loyalty, they show sacrifice. That's love. This is why even broken people still want to love. Love is older than philosophy, older than religion, older than culture. It is the soul's default setting. Now, in this world, when we're in this world, we see the world through various lenses, through various perspectives. And this is where something beautiful happens. Our perception of the world evolves as we advance in spiritual life. In the beginning, we see the world as a prison. You know, we see this place is dangerous. It says in the scriptures, this place is binding, it's punishment. And that's not entirely wrong. The world can function like a prison when we are rebellious against our true identity. Of course, it's described as that. But as we mature, we begin to see the world as a classroom. Now it's no longer punishment, it is education. Every situation becomes a lesson. Every difficulty we have in life becomes instruction. We're not inmates of a prison anymore, we are students. Then we go deeper and more reflective, and we see the world as a mirror. And the world is not just teaching us, it is reflecting us because we've become more advanced in our spiritual vision. And so I learned so much more about myself because the world shows it back to me. What I get disturbed by reveals me, reveals my conditioning. What attracts me exposes me. Every relationship in this world becomes a diagnostic tool for my own heart, how we respond to the relationship. how the relationship shapes us. And then something very refined happens. We begin to see the world as a temple, not a random place that we happen to be plunked somewhere, not merely a testing ground, but a sacred space. This whole space that we're in, even though it may appear abominable in a particular location, but we can see the whole thing as a temple. Because every interaction is arranged by the Lord. Every encounter, apparently random ones, is meaningful. Every moment is pervaded by the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart. The same world, completely different perception. Just the maturity has changed. And finally, when prema begins to awaken, the vision changes once more. Now the world is not even just a temple. The whole world is a love letter. A greater love letter than anything you can see on Valentine's Day. Is a love letter from Krishna to us. Not because everything is pleasant, not because everything is easy, but because we see everything as personal. We see the Lord with us everywhere. He's with us. And everything that the Lord manifests before us, it's his way of saying, I love you. Everything is arranged for the awakening of the love in my heart, to the extent that I want it, to the extent that I allow the Lord to operate in my heart. And that's a measure of our maturity in our spiritual growth. Now, incarnations are not historical events. They're affectionate interventions. He says, right? Paritranaya sadhunam. Krishna comes again and again, not to manage the cosmos, but to court the soul. Paritranaya sadhunam. I come to give them hugs. These sadhus, these great souls who are always seeking me. Like how he hugged Prahlad Maharaj. And King Nimi understands this. He is asking, tell me about all the ways Krishna has tried to reach us. He is speaking from the heart of someone who's saturated with giddy love. Tell me all the ways Krishna has tried to reach us in the past and what he plans to come in the future. I can't wait to hear how much love he has for us. That is a lover's question. That's why that angle was covered in the purport. Now, here's where it's very important to understand. Love is not a feeling. We make this mistake. It is action. It is service. We need to be careful here because many of us subconsciously believe if I don't feel love, it means I don't have love. But the Bhagavatam never defines love as a feeling. Feelings are expressions of love, not its essence. We think feelings' essence is not. Love is what? Love is orientation. Where am I looking at? What's my direction? Where is my life pointed? Love is who I'm willing to serve, even when it is inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable or unnoticed. If love was merely a feeling, then our bhakti would rise and fall with our blood sugar. Bad japa would mean I have no devotion. Might as well put it away. Dry kirtan would mean Krishna has left the room. It's not true. But Krishna never defines love that shallowly or that cheaply. Love is not emotion. Love is commitment expressed through service. That's why Prabhupada always translated bhakti as devotional service. The soul actually never asks, should I serve? No. Deep inside, the soul always asks, whom shall I serve? Even in the mature world, service never disappears. It just becomes misdirected. We serve employers, we serve families, we serve expectations, we serve ego. What does bhakti do? Bhakti, all these services you see here, bhakti does not invent service. Bhakti liberates the service. It reconnects our tendency with its rightful object. Finally, we can taste what we've been looking for. And this is why worldly love often disappoints so deeply. It's like a drop in the desert. Not because love is wrong, but because selfishness is a terrible container for love. And yet, we're driven by selfishness. And that's really our core issue here. This worldly love, this feels like this drop of water in the desert, so precious, so hoped for, and so quickly gone without really satisfying, slaking the thirst. Why? Because when love collapses inward in a selfish way, it suffocates. But when love expands outwards toward the Lord and toward other souls, it nourishes. And then you realize Lord is also inside. But I just didn't know it. And so, to be truly selfish is not wrong if you know what the self is. But our false selfishness is what the problem lies. Now, the Vedas recognize 4 goals in life. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You ask anybody, what are the 4 goals of human life? Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma is what? Righteousness, religiosity, rituals. Artha means prosperity, get money. Kama means now, okay, what do you do with the money? Well, you enjoy it. You go for a vacation or whatever, you do some selfish things or sense enjoyment, typically. And then when you get tired of the whole thing, because you're not really getting what was promised on the billboards, the satisfaction. So then you said, I'm tired of it. I want relief from these miseries. It's going to have to mute. Let me see. Yeah. So what's the problem with these? Which of these are good? Which of these are bad? Which of these human goals that are proposed in the Vedas are worth pursuing? All of them are not good. I mean, they're all legitimate, but they're all incomplete. Even moksha. What's the problem with moksha? Even moksha is selfish because it's driven by a sense of, I need relief. I want relief. I don't want pain anymore. I don't want to suffer anymore. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes a shocking declaration. He says, Prema Pumartho Mahan. Love. Pumartha means goal of life. Is a Pancham Purushartha, Pancha Pumartha, the 5th goal of life, which is prema, is the greatest goal of life. And it is so great, it is the only really goal of life. It's not freedom from these external sufferings, but it's freedom to love fully. That's what prema means. It's a beautiful verse in this book called Chaitanya Mata Manjusha. And this encapsulates our whole philosophy. This is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradaro na para. The Supreme Lord to be worshipped, the worshipable Lord, is the son of King of Raja, Shri Krishna. He is a worshipable person. And his abode Vrindavan is equally worshipable, Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Okay, how should I worship? Well, the most excellent form of worship is that conceived by the gopis of Vraja, Vrajavadhu. Okay, but what if I have questions on how to do it, different details of philosophy? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amlam. It's the spotless authority, Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can get all your questions answered there. Okay, but what's the highest goal then? Prema Pumartho Mahan, pure love of God at Prem, is the highest goal of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Matamidam. Mata means this is the opinion, final opinion. Tatadaro Napara. There's no higher conclusion than this. So this encapsulates our whole philosophy. Who do you worship? Krishna. But not just any form of Krishna. The highest form of worship is, the most intimate available form of worship is Krishna in Vrindavan. So Krishna in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is mentioned. Whose footsteps should we follow? Gopis. And where's the philosophical basis? Srimad Bhagavatam. And what's the ultimate goal? Love. That's the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness does not kill love. Prabhupada once said, we do not say don't love. We say love Krishna. That's one of the most psychologically healthy spiritual statements ever made. Krishna consciousness is not anti-love. It is anti-misplaced love. It does not ask us to become cold. It asks us to become aligned. Now, coming back to King Nimi, he's not asking us to invent a form of God. The purport is clear. All forms are eternal of the Lord, right? You can't concoct it. But among the forms, which form inspires my love? It's not whim. This is intimacy. It's our soul recognizing the resonance of the various varieties of the Lord. And the word abhimata means the most desirable. So again, the most desirable is a subjective thing. And since we're all subjects, we're not objects, it'll vary, which is why the Lord has unlimited variations. It doesn't mean which form of the Lord is the most intellectually superior, or which is, it's not philosophically impressive, but this idea of the form of the Lord that resonates with our heart. It's heart awakening. For some, it is Lord Ram. For some, it is Nrsimhadev. For some, it is Gopal. For some, it is Radha Krishna. For some, it is Jagannath. Bhakti is not uniformity. Bhakti is unity in diversity through love. See? And how is this love manifest in our lives as devotees? Manifest in relationships. Relationships between Radha Krishna, between Guru disciple, between devotees and friends. None of these are sentimental. They are grounded in service, in sacrifice, and in trust. That's why we have these 6 loving exchanges. They're central to our practice. They're central to our association with the devotees. Giving and receiving gifts, offering food, accepting food, speaking confidentially, listening confidentially, opening the heart. These are not merely social niceties. They are training for eternity, for an eternal life where this goes on. We're told to be detached. But Prabhupada is very clear. Detachment does not mean lack of feeling. A living being must have affection. Bhakti does not erase affection. It purifies the affection. It purifies the direction of the affection. It purifies us from the ego that comes with many of these affectionate exchanges, the selfishness. It removes it, eradicates the selfish component, purifies it. Love does not disappear in bhakti. Love matures. It's a beautiful verse from Ujjwal Nilamani by Rupa Goswami. Amazing picture. I mean, this is like the perfect Valentine's verse. Oh, Master of the universe, your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac and are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, very red, with your melted hearts. For the benefit of the whole world, you have painted both your hearts red within this great palace of the universe. So when we see all these red floating balloons in heart shapes today, remember this verse. This is Rupa Goswami. Radha and Krishna's hearts melting together, not metaphorically, ontologically. This is not poetry for artists. This is the destiny of the soul. Every incarnation of Krishna performs these leelas, and it's an invitation. His leela is an invitation to love him from a new angle. This is why he comes again and again, not because he forgets us, but he refuses to give up on our hearts. So how can we love and cultivate this love daily? This love will not arrive dramatically, typically. It accumulates quietly by chanting with more and more purpose, more and more affection, more and more focus, more attention, by hearing with love, by associating with devotees, by serving, by sharing. And one day, without announcement, we realize, I'm no longer just trying to love Krishna. I'm realizing that I'm being loved by Krishna. When that day comes, it's very moving. So on this Valentine's Day, Bhagavatam gently reminds us, you are created to love. This is who we are. We are designed. You're designed to love. You're designed to serve. You're designed for prema. And Krishna keeps incarnating because he is still courting our hearts. We just need to respond to his loving flute song. Let us be fully absorbed in the sweetness of his call from the flute. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind attention and your valuable time. Haribol. All right. Let's see. I think we have some hands up. Anand Bihari Prabhu, is still here, or do we lose him? Not sure.
It's still here, but maybe he's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could just take these two people.
Sure. Okay, we have Bhima Prabhu and then Gail Mother. Go ahead, Bhima Prabhu.
What a lovely class. What a lovely class. One that I know I will remember. The statement that, we hear these pastimes, this Leela, and we're told that this is the nectar. This is where you go. This is the only cure for this Mayic world that is very much surrounding us and within us. And go to the Leela. And the tendency is, especially for people who have, trained in literature and read all sorts of folk tales and scripture and stories through scripture from very many different sources, that you sometimes, which is an offense, of course, sometimes think it's poetry for artists. Not to discount it, but this is poetry, and what's the feeling that I arrive at? Where's the ras? Like you're enjoying the ras of the absolute in a conjugal relationship. You're just like, wow, this is so enjoyable. So it's not such a bad thing. But when you said it's not this or just this, it's the destination of the soul, was like an invitation for us to become part of those stories. And I thought that was just really lovely. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. I saw that you also typed it for everyone to see as a highlight. I really appreciate it. Yes, that these things, when they hit us, that no, this is for me. It's not for it's not poetry for poetry's sake. The poem is a treasure map. Oh my God. Why don't we just keep reading the poem? Why don't you actually go and find the treasure? Which should, you should go out of the door and get it. Thank you so much. Yes, Gail Mataji, my obeisances. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My prostrated obeisances to you as well. Yeah, before I ask my question, I kind of need you to repeat your definition of love as not just a feeling, which of course means feelings are part of love, but you mentioned it's a direction of, I don't know if you said commitment or sacrifice or activity, something like that. You mentioned direction is who you is how you direct
Yeah.
something.
Yes. So, right. So what I said was love is not a feeling, it's action, it is service. It is the feelings of love are not its essence, they're expressions, they're side effects. What actually is the core of love is our orientation. Where's my life pointed? Who am I facing all the time? Who am I thinking about? Who am I willing to serve, even when it's inconvenient, even when I'm not feeling anything at that moment, even when it's uncomfortable? So that's the point, is that service and focus on the beloved to make them happy, to try to make their feelings good. It's despite of my feelings. The classic story, that story between the gopis and the queens of Dwarka and Narad Muni, right? The headache. So that proves that, gopis don't care if they're in hell. That's irrelevant for them. They don't care if they have no feelings. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the same thing in Shikshashtakam. He says, even whether you are not present before me, make me brokenhearted, it doesn't matter. You're my master. That is love. So when we have no feeling, that means the Lord is not present before us in a sense, or whatever is blocking us. But that's not what is going to stop us. Our love is going to continue, or we show our love by powering through those dry days, powering through when we feel everything looks like a sign of defeat. No, I'm still going to remain a devotee. Today I'm going to stay a devotee, and tomorrow I'll be a devotee even more. And that's the point of love. It's much more than what I feel right now. That's the point.
Oh, okay. So great. So your review just touched on exactly where my problem lies. It's because we grow up in this material world where we equate love with these soft feelings in the heart.
Yeah.
So my obstacle is when you say love is like when we power through our service, even when those soft feelings aren't present, and it's just, so I don't know if I should say counterintuitive to think that you're experiencing love even though you are serving, but there is that dryness in the heart where I mean, it just doesn't even feel right, to say that this is love.
No, it's true. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acknowledges that.
Oh.
Yeah, namakare bahuda nije sarvashakti. That's what I'm saying. Read the Shikshashtakam very carefully. The answers to these loving questions there. He says, Durdevam idrisham ihajainanuragam. My Lord, even though you have full power in your names, look at my misfortune. I have no taste for them. He's crying on our behalf. This is what we are having, right? This is expression of love too.
But he's expressing his lamentation.
Yes.
I thought that verse was expressing his lamentation over not having that.
Yes,
love.
That's the thing. But that lamentation is an expression of love, is what Mahaprabhu is teaching us. That's why we should lament our lack of taste and recognize that lament is also a form of love, and the Lord will reciprocate someday.
I guess I don't understand how that lamentation, because it just feels like just dryness. To say that lamentation is an expression of love that we wish we had.
It is dryness, yes. You know what's happening? You're crying about your dryness. And when
and that doesn't feel like love.
No.
Love to me means softness. When I think of a person,
yes,
when I hear anything about the person, anything associated with the person, my heart melts. That's what feels like love to me. Of course, without service is meaningless, but the service should be born out of that feeling. That's what feels like love to me.
So we have, what you have said is a very narrow definition of love. Prabhupada explains, see, you said dryness, right? When we're lamenting and like Mahaprabhu is crying about his dryness, what happens when you cry? Get tears. Tears are wet. The dryness is gone. You got to understand that part. Now, spiritual crying, Prabhupada explained that spiritual crying, like this crying Mahaprabhu is doing, or even when we are frustrated in our inability to evoke these feelings, that's not a symptom of weakness or misery. It is a symptom of awakening of our love. To understand how crying can be a great joy and ecstasy, we have to distinguish between material tears and spiritual tears. Even though we're trying to come out of material conditioning, the yearning for that spiritual platform is our good fortune. Prabhupada says that people in the world, they don't know that this crying is such an ecstasy. Even if it's beginning level crying, where we're crying that we don't have taste, or the advanced crying, where we're crying for genuine separation from Krishna, it doesn't matter. These are feelings. These are feelings expressed in Sharanagati. We're not crying for, material things. We are not at that level of Ashta Sattvika Vikara, where we're trembling and all that. But still, the heart is softening. Our ego is gradually dissolving. Separation deepens a little bit. And the soul starts feeling its natural relationship. And how do you measure it's working? You start losing taste for this lower things. You start losing it. And that's how you know you're moving in the right direction. And if you do it under the guidance of progressive devotees, in the association of the right kind of devotees, then you will feel that, oh yes, I'm in the right place, even though I'm not I haven't reached the goal, but I'm in the right place. Yeah.
So it's green mango crying.
Green mango crying, exactly. Prabhupada said mango is perfect in any stage. Mango is mango.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to pause here because I believe it's 8:01, and then we'll come back to Chris Bryant. But right now, I believe there should be darshan happening. Is somebody in the Bhakti Center room going to turn on the camera? That'll be great. The curtain should be open any second, so let us express our love. If you like, you can turn on your camera so you can also present yourselves to the Lord. Darshan is a two-way street, So I'm not sure if they're going to...
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think anybody is in the temple room. I mean, anybody could be, but what?
There it is. There it is. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they can unmute, that'll be nice.
Lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. Back to his little feet at great alms. By his grace, mercy of by only which consciousness purified the word of that means some attachment to his lotus feet and perfection to all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord. Things that I bring my needs and ignorance is destroyed. Fitting scriptures. Our spiritual master. Master, please see verse flowers. This is shaded in verse.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Madan Gopal Prabhu, all glories to you. Thank you so much. I got distracted during the Afterglow. Did the audience participate nicely?
Yes, we had some great questions and comments. Thank you.
What were the
That
questions
was
and comments?
before the Afterglow, yes.
Yeah, sweet, sweet. Are you available to stay with us over time, Madan Gopal?
A few minutes, yes, definitely. Sure.
Please keep shining. If you need a clarification. Narottam Nitai Prabhu says, thank you for class. Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. Dear devotees, where are you? Please. Say something in line with Guru Sadhan Shastra. It can be, okay.
Sundari Radha, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, my obeisances to you, Gurudev. Thank you for giving this class. It was so good. I have so many notes, but would you be able to elaborate a little bit more? You said, let me just get to my notes, sorry. You said, what attracts me exposes me. Can you elaborate like just a little bit more? Hare Krishna.
So, well, what I was saying is like, when we start evaluating ourselves, this is, I think it was the context of when I was telling about the world as a mirror. Now, what does that mean, world as a mirror? It means that I'm in the world, I'm conditioned. And now the world offers me different things. Okay. Say offered me 5 different things. And I choose this one. And then I go, oh man, why did I choose that? You see, so why did I get attracted to that? It exposes me in the sense that it reveals who I am. They do this even with young children, you know, in the Vedic system, there is samskaras. And with very young children, when they're crawling, they put some, you know, at the time, I think it's grain ceremony or one of the ceremonies where they I think it's grain ceremony, where they put a Bhagavatam and they put some money and they put like a pen or something, you know, a couple options. And then they put it a little far from the child and tell the child to crawl in that direction. So if the child chooses the money, then it's like, oh yeah, this kid is going to make a lot of money or whatever. They choose the Bhagavatam, oh yeah, he's going to be a great devotee or something like that, you know. Of course, that's just a ceremony. But when we actually choose those things, it reflects who we are, you see. So to know the character of a person, character meaning their, you know, their inner condition or their current conditioning. We should observe what they do when they have full freedom to do whatever they want. See? So that's how the world reflects back. It reveals who we are, Doesn't mean that's who we are permanently necessarily, because we're not our conditioned selves. People change. And then we're really, oh my God, I can't believe I chose the wrong thing. No, next time I'll not choose it again. And we change. We want to change, and we change for the better. And next time when it comes, we'll choose something better. That's how we evolve too. So that's why it reflects back. And that the world exposes us to who we are. What we're attracted to exposes us. Yes, thank you. Yes, Gail Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I mean, I have a question, but just to comment on this, it reminds me of sometimes when you go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, they give you Rorschach blots, and have you tell them, what do you see, and so that what you say reflects kind of your mentality in that way. So it's like this world is like a giant Rorschach blot. Anyway, my question is back to your talk when you were saying that this whole world is like Krishna's love letter, and that includes the atrocities that we experience or see happening in this world. And I was wondering if those atrocities are his love in the form of his encouraging us to, get to a happy place, or is it his love letter in some other form, or what would you say about the atrocities as his love?
So atrocities are not perpetrated by Krishna to us. Atrocities are self-inflicted wounds, either individually or collectively. So if you want to see the love letter of Krishna, read the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamaha Mojasa Pushnami Choshadi Sarva Somo Bhutvarasatmaka. He says on the cosmic level, I'm hugging you. I provide for you. Personally, he said I personally enter into the planets and keep them afloat in orbit so that everything is the right temperature. I personally make sure that the moonlight, and I am the moonlight that goes into the vegetables and the different, fruits and things that we eat that nourishes our body. That's that verse, right? The very next verse after that, he says, Aham Vishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashita Prana Samayuktam Pachami Namsadurvidam. That remember, this is, if you see this from the point of view of a love letter, it's amazing. He says, I am the fire of digestion. He doesn't have to personally be fire of digestion. He could have said, Agni Dev is a fire of digestion. No, I am the fire of digestion. I love you so much. I enter into your digestive tract, the sticky one, and I'm embracing you. I'm embracing you from within and without. Pushnami Choshadi Sirva. I'm the incoming breath and outcoming breath, the stinky one. But he is there. I don't care about your smell. He's saying, I am your breath that keeps you alive. Praninam Dehamashita, of all the creatures. It means I personally am hugging you from inside and out. So at the cosmic level, at the molecular digestive level, at the breath level, and then the very next verse is the very famous 15:15, which he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. I'm seated in everyone's heart. And not just the material body, the gross body, but even things like knowledge, forgetfulness, remembrance, they come from me. I provide all these facilities. I am there with you at such a close, intimate level. You have no idea how much I love you. That's the inner message. That's the love letter. Now, the atrocities we see are when we eat the wrong thing. Then that atrocity is perpetrated by us upon ourselves. And then every time these atrocities happen, Krishna is not happy. Krishna is doing a face palm. I'm doing so much for you, and you guys keep messing up. Okay, I'm going to correct it. I'm going to try to, help you, tell you, I'm going to teach you in this next chapter what to eat, what not to eat. So in chapter 17, he gets into what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, and don't eat too much, don't eat too little. So these atrocities are our creations, and his love is to show us how to avoid those pitfalls of atrocities. And so that's what he's balancing is our free will, while also giving us enough education if we are ready to accept it. And that's his love. And so every aspect of it is his love. So that's the proper way to look at it. You see, in the moment we start thinking these atrocities are perpetrated by Krishna, then we'll be confused. How can he be loving us? But we have to understand the right way. It's not us. It's not him. It's us. All right. Someone else had their hand up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I think they put it down, though. I don't remember who it was.
It was Sadvi.
Oh,
I
yes,
believe.
Sadhvi, yes. Sadhvi Devi, are you still there?
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if nothing, then can call it a day. I'll give you a few more minutes for your Valentine's. Thank you all very much again. I'm very appreciative that I got an opportunity to speak on Valentine's. I just thought it's mind-blowing that the verse was about love and the purport mentioned the word love twice. It was very, very sweet. So Krishna does like to do some cool things every now and then for us.
Prabhu, I know you're trying to close, but you I just had a lingering follow-up, if I could, about
Sure.
the atrocities. Because when I asked the question, I was really, what I had in mind was, sometimes, especially in the news, right? Because I'm just thinking about something that I heard yesterday. It was something so horrific. And yes, atrocities we self-perpetrate these atrocities, but, it affects those of us who aren't, at least not in this life, the direct perpetrators of the atrocity. So in such cases, you know, where is how do we connect with Krishna's love when we are simply hearing about, viewing these atrocities perpetrated by others?
Mm. So this is important for us to see from the proper angles. And we know all these angles. You know all of them. The challenge is to put all the angles properly on the table in front of us to process atrocities. First of all, we do not bypass the horror. Oh yeah, it's okay, it's just a world. No, no, no. Atrocities are horrific. We don't want to spiritually sanitize the evil in the world. It's there. We recognize it. Violence, abuse, genocide, exploitation. These are real. They're devastating. Bhakti does not require us to deny that emotion that goes with that. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not bypassing that. Even in Mahabharata, even in Bhagavatam, suffering is described vividly. It's graphic. Bhagavatam does not bypass the emotional nature of the suffering. The Pandavas wept. Draupadi wept. Kunti wept. So spiritual maturity doesn't mean saying, it's all fine, Prabhu. No. It means learning how to hold two truths at once. That's what we have to learn. See, Krishna's love, like we said, doesn't mean that Krishna causes the cruelty. That's the critical distinction we have to make. Krishna gives us the free will. He gives us moral agency. He gives us a structured world governed by karma. We see it happening. Atrocities are not expressions of his divine affection for us or his sadistic nature. Some people think God is sadistic. That's why he does it. It's like God is like this kid with a magnifying glass in the hot sun and we're little ants and he's burning us up just for fun. No, that's not what God is. Atrocities are expressions of our misused free will operating inside lawful moral framework. We know that. Why is that? We know that love requires freedom. Otherwise, not love. We've talked about it ad infinitum. Freedom allows distortion of values. If Krishna removed all freedom, there'll be no love, only automation. So love includes the risk of tragic distortion. Now, another point we have to keep in mind is dukhalema shashvatam. Remember? This world.
Wait.
Sorry.
Before you proceed. So the two things that we have to hold simultaneously is one, the free will that is required for love to be expressed, right?
Yes.
Which includes being able to being free to perform atrocities,
To
right?
twist things out, yeah, to even justify them.
And so then the other thing is what? What's the two things?
No, see, the two things.
Or that's the two things. Is that the two things?
The two things is that the suffering is real. Violence, abuse, all that stuff that happens, exploitation. The devastation, devastating nature is real. He doesn't
Mhm.
require us to deny that. We don't deny its validity. At the same time, we also know that Krishna's love for us is real. Those are two different things we can hold at once. And we have to reconcile
Yeah.
in understanding this framework. That's how you reconcile it. See?
Okay.
And then the third point, which Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, is that the world is what? Dukhalaya Shashvatam, right? Temporary, full of suffering. It is not a comfortable spa in here.
Yeah.
It's like going to the Himalayas and saying, what's the deal with all this snow? Why do we have so much snow in here, my lord? Himalaya means, Hima means snow. Alaya means there's a place where there's plenty of snow, nothing but snow. Dukhalaya means dukkha, pain. Dukhalaya means there's nothing but pain in here. So when you come here and say, why is all this pain, my lord? Hey, this place is pain place. Painistan. This is what it is. You know. Now, of course, it doesn't minimize the suffering. Again, it contextualizes the suffering to understand this place, why it's full. It's not, I'm not saying we deny the suffering. When we expect heaven from a broken pain place, we feel betrayed. So that's where we feel confused, because we're expecting heaven here. This is not the place for it. You don't go to the Himalayas to go sunbathing in your bathing suit. You're expecting the wrong thing. So don't expect to have comfort here. It's not going to happen. You'll have maybe glimpses. When we understand this realm, it has a corrective feature. There is a prison feature to it, for sure. Then that shock softens a bit. That's why we have this philosophy. That's why we have the perspective.
But the contradiction that I always have when this point is made is that on the one hand, Krishna says this is a pain of place. I mean, a pain of place, a place of pain. But at the same time, you also hear
The
that
pain in the place.
yeah, you also hear that it's not actually a place of pain. That is, it's only a place of pain if you approach this place with the wrong
Right.
attitude.
Right. No, that's the
So
thing.
then,
If you
so it
remember
depends, no?
the progression of the maturity. Remember, I started with the prison, then the classroom. So as you mature, you realize it's not so much a prison. It is a prison in one angle when I'm at that level. It is.
Yeah, okay, great. That's what I need to hear. That
It's the perspective of our
what,
maturity. That's why advanced
yeah.
devotees don't see pain anywhere. That's why advanced devotees, what happened? They say, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. The whole world is nothing but happiness. Kaivalyam Narakayate Dashapura Akasha Pushpayate. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives his sidelong merciful glance, the world becomes a place of endless joy. This world. Because you
So
see,
when Krishna says that Dukalayam verse, he is really talking to people who
we're conditioned.
have that,
We're
who are
conditioned.
conditioned.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
It's all
only for
about
them.
context.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
All
Very
right.
good. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you, Gail Mataji. Great questions. All right. So
Okay.
once again, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Have a good one out there. And we'll see you next time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Madan Gopal Prabhu ki jai. You are a sage, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Thank you so much for explaining everything with so much clarity and love. And you're relatable and very profound philosophical. It's unbelievable how you dovetail those two extremes in bhakti.
You know who's
Thank
a
you.
real sage is Sage. So maybe we should hear from them.
That's right.
It's on our birth certificate.
Sage Sky.
Sage and Sky, that's right.
Yeah. Annabelle and Isaiah, please.
So let's hear them from the junior choir, Paw Patrol.
Yes. Paw Patrol, let's go. Okay, there they are. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
This is the best part of class. Madan Gopal Prabhu, we hope you're not offended, but they stole the show. Thank you very much. Sage, Sky, Annabella, Isaiah, thank you very much. Dear devotees, we love you, we need you. Thank you for tolerating us. Pray for us, please. Come back again tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam never ends.